Okay. Yay! Yay! I have been so epically excited for this entire challenge because you guys are super amped up, so that amps me up even more. If you're hopping on now, just let me know that you can hear me. Hey, Allie. Hey, Tara. Hey, Tara. Hey, Shayna. Okay, so we're just going to go over some housekeeping stuff. I'm going to always normally get right into the trainings, give a couple minutes for people to hop on, but I respect and value your time so much, and I hate when I sign up for trainings and content and then like the first 10 minutes is like, where are you from and all that stuff, and I actually do want to know, so do drop in the comments where you're from just because I'm curious where you're watching from, and then we'll get right to the content. And something you guys will hear me say over and over again is like the most valuable resource is time. Like I value your time so much more than I value your money. Like to take 4 days and commit to showing up with me as I'm committing to showing up with you live, like that means the world. That's incredible. And that's why I love this community so much, because we just embody that selflessness, but also that empoweredness to show up for ourselves. So, all right, hi everyone. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, so many people from so many parts of the world. Actually, a couple people from Colorado, Maine, New York. Oh my gosh, so cool. So cool how we can all hang out together without being together. That's like my favorite part about the internet, which is so cool. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get started. I know you guys are so pumped. It's honestly the most unique and excited group I've ever had do a challenge before. We have over 2,700 people signed up total, so it's the biggest challenge to date, but also the most eager. And I've known for weeks, as soon as we started to market for the challenge and open pre-registration, I knew that this was going to be powerful because of the type of people joining the group. Some of you have had your workbook printed, some of you have went through the first like couple pages and just has been saying like, I'm so excited, keeping yourself accountable, because I know how easy it is to sign up for something like this and then not show up, which is honestly a shame. So I just knew from early on this was going to be incredible and so powerful. So I'm super excited. So I just want to go over like housekeeping and what you can expect for this week, because I know a lot of you guys have had questions. So first of all, you should have a workbook. It will say on the front, Uplevel Your Life Challenge workbook, so you know it's for the challenge. There was also a freebie floating around called Journal to Joy. Now that was just a bonus that I wanted to throw out to give you guys something to get started on in the meantime. So you can absolutely have both, but just know that taylorslango.com/joy is just a 21-day journal. You can totally do it. You can totally do it simultaneously, but it's not corresponding to the content that we're going to talk about this week. That's where your workbook comes in. I think it's like 33 pages or so, so definitely a hefty workbook. Going to be putting some work in this week. So if you don't have that, I posted a link in announcements. You won't have to opt in or give me your email again. You can literally just go click the button and download it so you can get it right away. However, if you guys aren't receiving emails from me, or you haven't received an email, or you signed up for the challenge and you never got your confirmation email, I would love for you to DM me personally, because I want to make sure that you're getting the email, so you're getting the replays and all the other bonus content that's coming this week. So that's super important. So just make sure that you reach out to me privately. I'm not sure why some of my emails aren't delivering and others are. I am not a tech queen. So just reach out. We'll figure it out. That's super important. So we will be going live every day right now, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, and trainings will be between 30 and 40 minutes. As you guys get to know me, you will learn that I'm a long-winded talker. I keep notes. I use notes for my challenges, because if I don't keep myself on schedule, we'll be here for 4 hours talking about every metaphysical thing under the sun, and I don't want to do that to you guys, because like I said, I want to be super respectful of your time. So be here live. If you cannot be here live, I also have this recording and I will be sending it out via email. Again, why it's so important that you're on my email list, so you're getting the replays the night of, so you can keep up with the group. And then I know some of you were like bummed that you couldn't ask questions during the challenge if you couldn't make it live, which I totally get, because I know some people are still working or they have kids, yada, yada, yada. So feel free to drop your questions in the Higher Self community for the next 4 days, and I will try to answer as many as I can as possible. But I'm going to ask, just throw a hashtag Ask Taylor in the post, because that way I can just search for the hashtag and make sure that I'm just seeing the questions specifically for the challenge this week and I don't pass it over, because you guys are so kick-ass and you keep this community thriving. Like, I literally check in a few times a day and there's so many posts that I haven't even seen or read or got to yet, so I want to make sure that I'm not missing your comments if you have one. So there's workbook, there's the trainings every day, Monday through Thursday, and then we're doing something called soul work, which I guess you could say is my version of homework, but in reality, like, we're here to learn. We're here to learn something and grow from it, and how do you do that? Well, through implementation and repetition. So that's why you guys have soul work, and that will be something that's not in the workbook. It's totally separate. That will be in the emails, and then we'll kind of be talking about it on these calls. So that's kind of the structure of how these trainings will go. There's no slides. It's just going to be talking to each other. So I'm really, really excited. I guess I'll just tell you a little bit more about me, because we're going to be spending a lot of time together. So let's just get to know each other. I learned a lot about you guys during that fun fact post, so that was so cool. And what was even cooler was to see that so many of you had similar fun facts. So it's just like really reiterates we're all connected, which is crazy. So I am Taylor Slango, and I am so fucking grateful that you guys are here with me today. I'm a mindset and manifestation coach, and I've been a serial entrepreneur, if we're being totally honest. I have started multiple businesses, all which kind of didn't work out, and they weren't even real. Like, I would call them more like hobbies. But just to give you a little bit of a backstory of where I came from, I live in Niagara Falls, New York. I went to Niagara University. I got my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I got a 9-to-5 in the criminal justice field before I even graduated with my bachelor's degree. So from the outside, it was like, you know, she's got her shit together. She landed a job right before she graduated, and it kind of felt like I had my shit together. But I only lasted in that job for about 90 days. I knew that that setting wasn't for me. I worked in an office with no windows. I made the intuitive yet not so responsible choice to leave that job with nothing else lined up. I was still living with my parents. I was engaged to my fiance at the time. Our wedding was a couple months away. So it didn't make a lot of sense on the outside or to my bank account, but internally it made a whole hell of a lot of sense, and I just had to not question that and do it. So I left that job. I never looked back. I've never used my degree in criminal justice since. I've never worked in an office since. So I made the commitment to myself during that point in my life, because I knew there was more to life than like the bullshit story I was getting fed, right? Like, we all get fed. Go to school, go to college, get a job, work your way up the ladder slowly but surely, you know, retire, and then at 65 start living. And I was like, oh wow, that sounds horrible. And everyone is like, this is so great, and I'm like, this is so terrible. So you cannot sign me up for that path. I'm gonna figure something else out on my own. And that's basically when my entrepreneur journey like became. And the law of attraction has always been with me. So I have dipped my toes in many random ass businesses, like furniture restoration and wedding planning and, oh god, all the things. I was a business coach at first before I even had a successful online business, so that was really out of alignment for me. I quickly realized that wasn't for me. And then I started my mindset coaching business, because for the longest time my limiting belief was like, I'm so good at explaining this stuff to people and helping them grasp it, implement it, and see change, because it's like the Kool-Aid. Like, once you start manifesting and realize how in control you are, it's like this snowball effect where you just like another win and another blessing and another synchronicity and another amazing opportunity and breakthrough and all this stuff. So I'm like, I'm really good at that. Like, my friends always come to me for advice. I can manage to lift myself out of these like weird slums, and I feel really confident in who I am, this, that, and the other thing. But I never saw business opportunity in it. And then in my time as a business coach, I said, well, you know, here I am supposed to be talking about marketing, and I am doing trainings on manifesting. Literally, I would like jump on a Facebook Live and be like, I'm going to talk about Facebook or marketing or branding, and then I would somehow be like back to mindset. And one day it was just like loud and clear, where it was like, this is what you need to be doing. And that's pretty much what I did. So now I'm here doing this, and I love it, and I'm obsessed with it, and it's like I couldn't imagine being anywhere else, and I couldn't imagine where I would be if I never left that 9 to 5. Because even though I had many, many jobs in between that point in my life, which was 2016, so wow, 3 years ago now, I had many jobs. I was broke as fuck for a really long time. Like, there were many moments where I was like, I should probably just use my degree and get a job. But I knew that like I shouldn't give up now of all times because I was 21. I was 21 at the time. So I was like, if I don't give up now at 21, by 25, like who knows where I'll be. So let me just keep trucking along, and that's what I did, and I'm here. So that's just a little bit about me and how I got to even doing this thing. And I know a lot of you guys think you have these extenuating circumstances, and I don't mean that in a way to insult you at all, because I totally understand and I'm not demeaning you or minimizing your feelings. But just because you may feel depressed or anxious or less than or not worth it, or you're a single mom, or you don't make enough money, like whatever your reason is that thinks like, you know, that makes you think your life is harder than someone else's, I'm here to tell you in the most loving and compassionate way possible that we all have the same time in the day, and once you just make that bold decision to change, it doesn't matter your circumstances. Like, it didn't matter that I had no degree and no place to live and no savings account and a wedding to pay for, and I was the most manipulative control freak ever, like of all time. I had my 5-year plan that I started planning when I was like 14, and I was always the one like coordinating events and like throwing hissy fits when things didn't go a certain way, or if I didn't have a certain dollar amount in the bank. So I can totally resonate and relate to feeling like that controls us. But this week, you're really gonna learn that you control those factors. So that's just a little bit about me. Okay, so now I want to dive into the 2 things the workbook talked about before we get into the lessons. So the first thing, and this is so funny to me because everybody like overthinks this, and like it's really supposed to be a simple thing. So in the workbook, it says to pick a sign for this week. Okay, what does that mean? What do you mean pick a sign, Taylor? Like, this is freaky shit. No, like literally close your eyes. What's the first thing that pops into your head? Word, number, picture, flower, animal, it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to have meaning. Like if you think, oh, a walrus, but you're like, oh, that doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't need to have any sentimental value at all. You're supposed to literally pick the first thing that surfaces in your mind intuitively without filtering it. So when I did this exercise for the first time myself, I closed my eyes and I thought pink flowers. And at first I was like, ooh, how about I just say flowers? Because if I say pink flowers, that's too specific and I'm not going to see it, and then I would fail at manifesting, which is like total bullshit and really funny now that I'm saying it out loud. But I overthought it and I was like, no, Taylor, just leave it alone. Pink flowers came to your head, so let pink flowers be your sign. And sure enough, I see pink flowers everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, in the most insane but beautiful ways, whether it's, you know, I'm going pee in the bathroom out to dinner and there's a picture of pink flowers in the bathroom, or when I went to a Tony Robbins event, of all places, the plants that surrounded this huge building in the middle of New Jersey, it was literally pots of pink flowers. When I planned my wine tour and we did a wine tour last time I opened the cart to Laws of Life, which was in October, every winery had pink flowers. So I'm just like driving the point home that they started to appear everywhere, even though I had that glimmer of doubt that it was too specific. So what's the point? What is the point of picking a sign anyways? To bring your conscious attention to the present moment. Because if you're looking for something, it will come up. But it's also supposed to be your communication with God or the universe or however, you know, whatever you want to call it. And we'll get into technical terms and stuff in a second. But every time I see pink flowers, I just am like, I know I'm supported. I know I'm guided. I know I'm right where I'm supposed to be, right when I'm supposed to be there. And to me, that is just a symbol and reaffirmation of love. And endless guidance. So I want you guys to pick a sign, and like, you just wait for the posts that are going to be coming through the group, because in October people were seeing these signs in the craziest way possible, and honestly it was so funny and so much fun. But detach from the outcome, because every time I do this challenge, we also have a group of people who are like, I'm so mad, I didn't pick, I haven't seen my sign and I'm doing it wrong. And it's so funny because a lot of you guys have been posting like, oh, I think I might be manifesting wrong, or I'm doing something wrong. And I don't know if you guys saw my post on Instagram, Facebook the other day, where it's like, you just have to stop trying so hard. Just be in the moment, and I promise you, you will see your sign. Give it patience. One of my Laws of Life students, Chatelle, she picked a sign, and her sign was, oh God, I think it was not bubbles. It was something. It was some sort of picture. But anyway, she was like, I never see my sign. I never see my sign. I never see my sign. So this went on pretty much the whole week of the challenge. And then she's washing her hands in her kitchen that day, and she sends me a message, and she goes, well, holy shit. My sign is on the soap bottle that sits in my house every single day. But because I was looking for this big, grandiose sign from the universe, I missed it, and it was there every single day. So I want just to put that in total perspective. I don't want you guys to be stressing about if you didn't see your sign and if you're doing it wrong or whatever it is. So that's the spiel about the sign. And again, like, make sure you're posting in the group so we can all see what your sign is and what it means to you and what kind of communication you yourself are personally establishing with Source Creator. So you pick a sign, and now I also want you to pick something to manifest. But let's be realistic, okay? If you guys have never dipped your toes in the manifestation sea before, and you tell me that you're going to manifest $10 million by Friday, okay, I'm not doubting it, because money is energy, and we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk a lot about money mindset. But I want you guys to pick something that you deeply believe in your soul. And I can't, lie detect you test on this or see if it's good enough or not. You will know at the end of the day in your soul if you believe this is something you can manifest. So people started with $5, $10, $20. It doesn't have to be money. A free cup of coffee. Someone pays for your coffee in line. No traffic to work. Little things that you want. I want you to focus on something, and when we're doing all these exercises, apply it to whatever it is you're manifesting. Because it's not a business course, right? You guys, I can't say do X strategy and make $1,000 in your business, but I can give you goals to work towards and then principles to apply to get you there, and then you can be the success story for yourself to say, this is tangible, I got results. And like I said, it's a snowball effect. So once that starts happening, you are just going to roll and roll and roll and see so many crazy things. So there's a ton of comments coming up, and I just want to make sure I'm catching everyone saying, hi, what if my sign is a person that has left, but I'm believing for remanifestation? Marcia, honestly, to that, and again, guys, you guys can drop your comments in the questions, and I'll try to get through as many of them as I can. If you're looking for a certain someone who has left, that's not detaching from the outcome, I guess, so to say. So to think of something that can show up, maybe it's the person's name and you see it, but I want it to be something that literally pops in your mind intuitively, and then you can detach. So it's okay if you don't see it the first day. It's okay if it's day 3 and you still haven't seen it. That just means we have some more work and digging to do, right? Okay. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Andrea. A lot of you guys have done challenges with me before, so welcome back to everybody else, and welcome to everyone who's new. Okay, Ashley says, can we have 2 signs? Totally. It's actually so funny that you say that, Ashley, because when my husband was doing this for the first time, the first thing he thought of was a flamingo. And what's really funny is he doesn't really see them often, but I see them almost as much as I see pink flowers. But when I see flamingos, I have a different communication with God. So that's a different message, and that's more about, love and self-love. So it's like I get different feelings when I see the different signs because of the meaning that I've associated to them. So that's totally fine. There's no hard rules on this whole sign thing. It's really just to bring you guys to awareness. Does it have to be a physical thing to manifest? No, not at all. Whatever you're after, like, you can totally manifest that. So, okay, we're 20 minutes in, and I told you guys I was long-winded, so I'm going to jump into content here so we can try to stay in a normal time. So let's talk about Manifestation 101. So excited. Okay, so what is manifestation? Like, I don't understand it. Maybe that's what some of you are saying. That's not what I'm saying. But what is manifestation? What is law of attraction? Like, what is spirituality? And let's, like, stir the conversation. So to manifest something, to break it down as simple as possible, just means to embody something. And I know you're probably thinking, okay, great, but still don't get it. And not all of you, because I know that a lot of you guys are at different levels. So I'm just going to start from the beginning and we'll work our way up. So to manifest is to embody something. But how do we do that? Let's dive into the two parts of the brain. That's where I want to start. That's where I love to start. We'll talk way more science, brain, energy stuff tomorrow. Tomorrow's my favorite day, so make sure you are here for Tuesday's training. But let's talk about the subconscious mind. We have two main parts of our brain. We have our conscious mind. We have our subconscious mind. Now, our subconscious mind stops developing around age 7. So think about how old you are now and how long it's been since you were 7 years old. So the subconscious mind stops developing at age 7. It is responsible for 95% of our life. And it is like this deep layer that holds our values, that holds our beliefs, that holds our self-limitations, our traits, all these like sticky things, as opposed to our conscious mind, which is like that 5%, and that's the part of the mind that knows what we want. So it's like if you have a dream or a spouse, or you're looking to get this new job or house, family, car, whatever it is, you consciously know you want that. You can say, I want, $1 million online business. But if you have a mix of things going on in your subconscious mind that doesn't believe what your consciousness is putting out there, you are not in alignment and you cannot manifest in this state. So our subconscious mind is the part of the brain that keeps our heart beating when we sleep, oxygen flowing. We don't have to really think about blinking or hearing, or when we're walking, we don't have to think mechanically about every step we take. Our subconscious mind is like a puppy. That is honestly the best way to describe how this part of our brain works. It's very loyal to you. It wants to protect you. It wants to help you survive, and it will do anything you say. So pretty much like a puppy, right? But much like a puppy, your subconscious mind cannot rationalize or analyze if you are feeding it things that could potentially hurt you. So for example, if you're consciously saying, I want $1 million online business, but your subconscious, what you really believe deep down at the end of the day, or what you were programmed to believe growing up, because again, it's through repetition, might be something like, I'm not even worth 6 figures. So if you believe at a subconscious level and feel at a subconscious level that you're not worth $1 million, but you consciously want $1 million business, there is a disconnect. So our subconscious mind is so powerful. So when we are out shopping and we say things like, I could never afford that, I would look terrible in that, I'm too fat for that, that person would never talk to me, I'm not good enough, all the bullshit, honestly, because that to me is just complete bullshit. But when you're having these conversations inside your mind, your subconscious mind is just seeping it all in. So think of every thought, every word, every feeling like seeds, and you're planting them in your brain of a garden. Now, if you're nurturing the seeds that say you're not good enough and you could never afford that and you can't have that and you're not capable, those are the roots that you're going to grow in your mind. So if you're planting seeds like, I am loved, it is my divine birthright to be successful, I am abundant in all ways, money is always flowing easily and frequently to me, if that's what you're planting through repetition and belief in your subconscious mind, that's what your subconscious mind is going to get. They're going to say, you got it, I'm running with it. But they're not going to say, Taylor, are you sure you want to believe that belief? Because if you do and I run with it, you're never going to get a husband because no one's ever going to talk to you because that's what you're putting out into the world, right? So it's really, really important to be intentional about the seeds that we're planting because the subconscious mind controls our entire life. And the problem with that is, because it's very powerful, like that is kind of how we get to be so in control of our life, but it's also like a fatal flaw if you don't see the power in it, because that part of the mind is, again, on autopilot. It likes to keep you safe. It likes to keep you in what's familiar. Now, you can't manifest these big desires that you want if you're staying the same and doing the same things and staying in the same place. So naturally, you're going to try to do something else or think different thoughts or hang out with new people or implement new things into your routine, and your subconscious mind is going to say, abort, 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 this is unfamiliar, this is scary, we got to keep her safe, we got to keep her in these four walls, and it's going to try to confine you by saying things like, are you sure, like you're not good enough, yada yada, all these beliefs are going to come back up, and you're going to start to restrict again, and you're going to see more of the same. So your subconscious mind is so powerful, and whatever you're telling it, backed with emotion, it is going to seek in some way, shape, or form. So that's why it's really important to understand how this part of the mind works, and we will dive much deeper into this tomorrow, but just know the subconscious mind is always, always turning, and that's why meditation is so important, because when you can meditate, now you're bringing all your awareness into this present moment. So if you've ever tried to meditate or just stop thinking and turn off your mind, you might have these random thoughts like, oh, did I let the dog back in? Did I turn the stove off? Did I lock the door? All these like random things, that's your subconscious mind. So then it becomes the question of, do you control your thoughts or do our thoughts control us? It can be either way depending on how aware and intentional you are about the things that you are thinking, feeling, saying, the conversations you're participating in, what you're watching on TV, what kind of music you're listening to, all of these things, right? So we have to rewire our subconscious mind because it stopped developing at age 7. So whatever it saw up until that point and in our life continued is what's really ingrained into our minds. And I want you guys to give yourself a lot of grace and patience with this one, because for however many years you have been thinking and feeling and believing the same things, so you can't turn it around and become a new person in a week. It takes time, it takes commitment, it takes showing up for yourself, even on the days that you don't feel like it. So it really takes this effort, right? And when you do this, you will start to feel differently. So you might have to lie to yourself at first and say things like, I believe I'm a six-figure earner. I believe I'm a six-figure earner. And at first it might feel phony, but through repetition and reprogramming, you will start to believe that, and your subconscious mind will know that and seek that out for you. So that's the subconscious and conscious. Again, we'll get way more into the brain and energy tomorrow. So excited. But now let's talk about the law of attraction. So, law of attraction, what is it? Let's talk about just what a universal law is to begin with. So, like the law of gravity, would you doubt it? And I use a really, really drastic example every time I talk about this because I want you to understand the severity of it, and so you can honestly put yourself in check. So if you are on a plane and both of the wings flop off, are you doubting for a second that the plane is going down? Are you going to say, the law of gravity, that's woo-woo shit, like I don't believe in it, I think this plane is going to be fine? No, you guys are going to be like screaming and holding on tight because you know by the law of gravity, universal law, an immutable law, which means it happens no matter what, whether you believe it or not, that plane is going to drop, right? I could use an example of a pen too. Like, do you guys really think this isn't going to drop if I release it? No, of course it is. That's a law of gravity. I want you to approach the law of attraction in the same seriousness, taking it as seriously as the law of gravity. The law of attraction basically just it has two foundational principles. Let me back up. So there's two foundational principles to the law of attraction. One is that everything is energy. We will go much deeper into that tomorrow, but that's important for right now. Everything is energy, and like energies attract other like energies. So the law of attraction can be summarized as like attracts like. What you think about, you get more of. What you talk about, you get more of. What you believe, you get more of. What you're feeling, you will get more of those feelings because they are alike energies. So that is why it's so, so, so important to be very intentional about the things we're thinking about the things we're saying, about the beliefs we're having, the conversations we're participating in, if we are gossiping, if we are judging, if we are, self-hating or hating others. All of these things completely influence everything in your life. And what trips people up is they can't see the correlation. So maybe they gossiped about a coworker or got in a really bad fight with someone and said some nasty things or say nasty things to themselves all day long. And maybe they have an asshole boss, or they got a flat tire at work, or just like that annoying shit that happens all the time, like you run out of toilet paper. Those little things are completely correlated with what you're thinking about, what you are believing in, what you're feeling throughout the day. And it's really important to make that correlation, you guys. Make that connect. Know that every thought you have produces something else. Know that every feeling you feel produces something else. Unfortunately, there's no big book where we can, look at page 1000 and say, oh, that day I talked shit about Nancy, I got a flat tire, boom, now I know not to talk shit, right? Like, it doesn't happen like that. So we have to do our due diligence and believe in this principle and do it out of love, not because we got a flat tire, right? I think it's super important to note that. But the thing to also understand is you're manifesting all the time. And I think I sent an email out about this yesterday, but people are always like, I want to learn to manifest. And it's so funny because I'm like, well, you are manifesting. I will explain to you how so you can see how you actually are. But you're manifesting all the time. So even if you're listening to me right now and you're skeptical or you're new to this, but it's happening. Like everything in your life you've manifested up until this point, but you didn't mean to because you didn't even realize you are, because you're telling me you want to learn how to manifest and I'm telling you, you already are. So let's rephrase the question to how do we manifest more of what we do want and less of what we don't? Well, if we're talking about the law of attraction and we are talking about our subconscious mind and the seeds we're planting, let's just start with changing the way we think and going all in with that. And it's almost overly simple, right? I mean, I thought the same thing, and I fell off this law of attraction bandwagon, and I would have some wins, and then I would fall off, and then I would have some wins, and I was on this vicious cycle of, okay, I could see this works, but then something shitty would happen, and it would knock me off, and I couldn't get back on the wagon. So that's why it's super important to be so, so, so intentional. So we're going to just start with what we're thinking about, but go all in with this. Go all in with this and try to be aware of what you're thinking about every single day and change the conversation, change the seeds you're planting. When you do that, you're going to automatically change the way you feel because your thoughts directly impact how you feel, and through repetition, these things are going to become real. So if we're going back now to the concept, the basic concept of manifestation, which is to just embody something, right? Then how do we embody something? Well, we have to get clear on what we want. So, what do you want your dream life to look like? What does a perfect day look like for you? What is your $1 million self live like? And when I was doing this exercise myself, I knew that my $1 million self kept her nails done, she kept her hair done, she went to the gym 4 times a week. So I made a very specific list about the diet I kept and my posture and my body language and the books I would read and what my morning routine would look like and the bathtub I would have, and it would be by this big, I got so specific on everything I wanted, and then who I really had to become to achieve those things. And then I started to embody some of those traits. So I keep my nails done because that's what my $1,000,000 self does. And I go to the gym and I eat those meals because there's no fucking reason I can't start doing those things now, because I have to become that person to have those things. And if I can do things now to help me become that person sooner, then that's fine with me, because now I'm embodying the feelings of what it feels like to be my $1,000,000 self and to have that house and to have that car. But the thing about manifestation, you guys, is it's not about control. So you may think of this beautiful specific goal, but your happiness cannot rely upon it. And that's kind of the loophole, and we'll talk about ways to balance this. But you have to learn to put out what you want in specificity, but also it's this fine art of detaching from the outcome and saying, this is what I want, but if I don't get it, I'm okay, because I know that life is happening for me, not to me. And if I'm not getting the exact thing I want exactly when I want it, I know something better is going to come. So I'm not going to throw a tantrum. I'm not going to fall off the manifestation bandwagon. I'm not going to get knocked down. I'm not going to get pissed off. I'm not going to start thinking things like, oh, it could never work out for me, or I always have these downfalls, or see, I did it wrong. Manifestation doesn't work. Because if you do that, you're going to be producing more of the same. This is where you have to really break that pattern and say, I am okay with surrendering myself and my desires and relying on my internal heart and soul to provide my joy and my happiness. So that's why I love to say that manifestation is like a science and an art, because it's really juggling these two things. So it's like, yes, I'm envisioning this beautiful bathtub in a certain material next to a window, and it's a standalone tub, and I have this very clear vision, but I don't wake up every day saying, whoo, did we get that bathtub yet? Because I am just a nervous wreck, and I am not going to live, and I'm not going to have fun until I get this exact bathtub. And if anything is even slightly wrong, I manifested it wrong, and God doesn't love me, and like all this bullshit stuff. Like, we want instant gratification as people naturally. Just as people, like, we want to win, and we want to win fast, and we want our dreams, and we want to get it fast. And that's why there's so many trends now that's like, manifest $1,000 in a week. And I hate to confine your dreams into a box like that, because if it doesn't happen in your time span, it means there's something better. So we have to figure out ways how you can move along and understand that, so that becomes your way of living, so you never fall off the bandwagon, and this becomes a lifestyle rather than a season for you. And I think that's the really, really important part. This beautiful balance of knowing what you want but not controlling it. And again, you guys, I told you in the beginning of this training, I used to be the most controlling person, and this is something that I personally suffered with all the time, because anytime something was out of line, I was having a panic attack. I was in and out of the hospital. I was on so many medications, and nothing was subsiding that anxiousness, because I was clenched so tight on the outcome that the universe couldn't do its job, because I was way, way, way too in control. And, what is that sending out? Well, the feelings of anxiousness, I'm going to get more of it. The feelings of scarcity, I'm going to get more of it. So eventually, when I hit my version of rock bottom, if you will, because the sad truth is most people don't embark on this journey until something really fucking shitty happens to them, and then they're like, well, you got nothing else to lose, or I got nothing else to gain, and then they go balls to the wall all in. But if some of you guys are here and you haven't hit that point yet, I am so, so happy that you are here, so you can start to actually do these things. So, okay, tons of comments. I'm so behind. Takes 21 days to make a change. So true. Riches of all sorts are drawn to me. Sona, I love that. I love that. Meditation tips, Leslie. Yes, we can totally talk about this. Okay, cool. You guys are so fun. You guys are sharing your stories. Love this, love this. Yay! Okay, so let's continue. It is important to focus on clarity, kindness, love, gratitude, rather than the things you actually want. So when you're trying to embody the things you want and that version of you, and I'll always bring it back to money, because like I'm not going to front and pretend like that's something people don't want to manifest. If you're trying to manifest a business or a house or a car or something else, like it still comes back to money. So I want to talk about that, and I'll use examples throughout the week just to make it more relatable. But if you're trying to manifest money, think about the ways that you can give back instead of the ways you could spend. So how can you give and serve and grow on a more massive way the more money you have, rather than what can I buy and what can I gain and what can I do for myself? Because if you're always coming from this place of love and kindness and gratitude, those are the feelings you're sending out. Those are the thought bases that you're having. So what are you going to get more of? Love, kindness, abundance, gratitude. And doesn't everybody want those things? Of course. That's why we're here. That's why we're having this conversation. So just to clear something up, anytime I say God or the universe, it is totally up to you guys what you call this source of love. To me, it's a big, big source of love. And I love to be spiritual rather than religious, because I have a very, very, very personal, intimate relationship with God, the universe, our creator. And I communicate in ways like a sign, and you develop your own relationship that's going to look different than everybody else's. So I want you guys to come into this with a very open mind and open heart about what exactly does that mean and look like and feel like to you. You have to figure that out. I don't have the answer to that. I can give you words, but it really is more of a feeling and a relationship that you will develop. And that's really, really important. So your soul work for today is to take inventory of your thoughts, whether you do it on your phone or on a notepad, or I want you to mark it somewhere, like take records somewhere. So whether you have to keep a journal or just in your iPhone, I don't care. But for the next day, I want you to take inventory of your thoughts. And every time you catch yourself saying something destructive to yourself or about others, or boo is me, if you're playing the victim, I hate that shit, you guys. You will learn that about me really quickly. If you have situations in your life that you don't want, that's why you're here, great, let's do something about it. But you can't stay stuck in that mentality, because if you're thinking those thoughts and you're feeling those feelings, by the law of attraction and your subconscious mind and manifestation, you're gonna attract more of that, and nobody has time for that. This used to be a 5-day challenge. I cut it down to a 4-day challenge because I don't think I need to waste an extra day of your time with the information that I can give you in 4 days when we knock it out of the park like this, right? So take inventory of your thoughts. Be really, really honest with yourself. Keep a list, negative, positive, and you tally the fuck out of that paper anytime you think something bad, but also anytime you think something good, because I want there to be a comparison. Because if you're catching yourself 503 times a day telling yourself you're a piece of shit, or you're not worth it, or you can't do this, and you're only thinking about, beautiful things or happy things or things you can be grateful for 3 times, 500 to 3, we have a problem. And that's your wake-up call. And this is where it starts, being aware of how much work needs to be done within the soul level and the mind level throughout the week, and being aware that there's more room to control how you think, feel, and act. There is room to control the seeds that you're planting. You have control over the seeds you're planting. Sometimes it's just easier to plant shitty ones because that's what we're used to, that's what we're familiar with, and it takes less effort, honestly. It takes less energy to stay the same than it does to change. So it's all about how much do you want to show up for yourself, and that's what I'm going to keep driving home all week. You're here for a reason. So you know how manifestation works. You now understand how powerful our subconscious mind is. You have to change your thoughts, change your feelings, change your words, change your beliefs, change all of these things. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about how everything is energy and a scientific base of manifestation. So we're going to talk about frequency, divine downloads, the law of vibration, all of these things. It's literally my jam. We will probably go over tomorrow because there's so much to talk about. Day 3, we're going to talk about limiting beliefs and how to identify them and how to heal from them and learn from them and release them, and better yet, replace them with better beliefs. And then on day 4, we're going to talk about manifesting the big things, because now you'll know the principles, you'll know the in and out and how it works. It'll make so much sense to you. So now we can talk about how we move on from manifesting $5 and cups of coffee to dream jobs, houses, partners, relationships, self-healing, self-love, insert desire here, right? So it's going to be a really, really, really powerful week. It's all going to come together. It's all very intentionally scheduled. I'm really excited to see your inventory. So let me know how this exercise goes for you. If you have any last minute questions, drop them on the comments. Okay, just catching up here. Oh my gosh, you guys are so funny with your comments. Great friend of mine said she thought needed this, and I've had bad months. I'm really excited. Yes, Lori, you're here for a reason. Tally the fuck out of that paper. Yeah, don't ever watch me like with your kids, because they're like 100%. There's gonna be some F-bombs, especially when I get super into it. So, okay guys, thank you for joining me live. This was a blast. Same time, same place tomorrow, about 30 to 40 minutes again, so you can pocket it. I will be sending out this replay, so if you even want to watch it again or you're just catching up, it will be available to you via email. I love you all. I'm so excited to get to know you more throughout the week, and I will catch you tomorrow. Bye!